Welcome to a new video and a new camera comparison between the Oppo Find X6 Pro versus the Xiaomi 13 Pro. So let's get started. This time around I'm in the woods here in Cologne, Germany, and we want to take a look at those bad boys here. Triple 50 megapixel setup on both, but we have larger sensors definitely on the Oppo with a 1/1.5 inch size sensor. But the Xiaomi has a tele macro camera capability, which is quite handy, and both feature the same 50 megapixel 1 inch type sensor. So which one of those is the clear winner? We will check this out here right now. And the front, we have a 32 megapixel on both. And yeah, don't mind the screen protector, probably also not focusing correctly. I was just rubbing them against each other. This is why the screen protector is a little bit broken on both. But yeah, let's check out the front-facing video first. So this is now the front-facing camera of the Xiaomi 13 Pro, and only sadly 1080p 30 frames per second. I'm not testing the 13 Ultra. No, I did not pre-order it, and Xiaomi is not sending it to me, at least not that I know of. Maybe when the global release comes, I will have a look at it, but otherwise, yeah, you have to deal what you have to deal with. The 13 Pro right now, 1080p 30 frames per second, and the 13 Ultra is not doing it better. Probably the same sensor even. As you can see here, overblown highlights, especially here in the background, and yeah, only 1080p. What do you think about the quality here? And now we have the front-facing camera on the Oppo Find X6 Pro. This sadly also only has 1080p, and for some reason the autofocus, which is, I typically like autofocus, like you can just focus on stuff that is very, very close, just like I can focus on the light, I can probably on the reflection of the wood, but if I have something like this, it is able to focus. But for some reason I have the issue sometimes it's getting out of focus, so everything is like blurred a little bit and not really sharp. So what do you think about the Oppo Find X6 Pro here? And also, yeah, I think it has also a little bit overblown highlights, but it's dealing much better with HDR than the Xiaomi's front-facing camera. Which one of those you like better? The highlight of the Xiaomi 13 Pro is definitely the 1 inch type sensor that we are using here right now. It gives good HDR, good stabilization, and good colors and nice background blur. What do you think about this one here? I'm recording 4K 30, but you can go up to 8K 24 frames per second. And here the Xiaomi is a bit superior to the Oppo, because the Oppo only offers 4K 60, but then it cannot record it with the ultra wide angle. The Xiaomi 13 Pro, when recording 4K 30, can also switch to the ultra-wide angle. So let's do this. Let's switch to the ultra-wide angle. We have a slider for this. And this is now the ultra-wide angle. What do you think about this one here? How's stabilization? How's HDR? Sun is coming from roughly there. So what do you think about the quality here of the ultra-wide angle? What we want to do is focus on something and try to zoom on something. I'm not sure. There were some birds earlier that I saw here. And I'm hearing birds, but I wanted to zoom on something with birds, but I don't see anything. So I will try to zoom on some leaves that are hanging on a tree. Maybe this will work out. So let's try to do this. Yes, I think a bird, if I'm not completely mistaken. So this is ultra wide angle. Let's zoom in slowly. We have 1x now. And we have a very smooth zoom here on the Xiaomi 13 Pro. It switched lenses again at roughly 3.5x, and now we are getting into the territory of 10x, 15x maximum zoom, as you can see here. I'm not sure what this is. Is this a bird or a nest or something like this? Let's go back to 10x. Because this is, I think, the sweet spot, the maximum that I would go with this camera for video recording. What do you think about this one here? And this is now 10x on the Oppo Find X6 Pro. I can zoom in a little bit more even, actually, up to 18x. Does it look a bit better than the Xiaomi? I doubt it, but maybe it is, because you only have like 2.8x magnification on the lens here that is like then cropping in. It's a very large sensor, but nevertheless, let's zoom out slowly. You can see it's also zooming out very slowly, but I'm not so sure if it's so smooth as the Xiaomi. So this is now 1x, and yeah, we can walk a little bit here. And I can show you also the bokeh when I switch around to me here. So what do you think about this one here? In terms of bokeh, I think we have a slight larger aperture, f1.8 instead of f1.9. So this helps a little bit with a little bit more background blur eventually. and the field of view should be the same, roughly 23 millimeters here. And of course what I can do is, while recording 4K 30, I can go up to 4K 60, but then only on the main camera, is I can also switch to the ultra wide angle at 4K 30. So let's do this. I have a slider here as well. And this is also 0.6 times magnification. What do you think about this one here? How does the ultra wide angle cope with the high dynamic range, with the woods, with the wide angle, field of view, with the stabilization and everything? Yeah, what do you think about this one here? The Oppo Find X6 Pro. So this is now recording with the Xiaomi 13 Pro and its internal microphone and the movie mode, or actually movie frame, because it's just cutting or adding black bars to the top and the bottom. So it's not like reframing or using a different aspect ratio here. It's just using the normal aspect ratio here. I think it should be recording 4K and just adding the top and bottom black bars. What do you think about the Xiaomi 13 Pro's voice recording capabilities and this movie mode? And now I'm recording with the Oppo Find X6 Pro and its movie mode, also 21:9, though not 4K actually. And no, it's not adding black bars, it's just really recropping, recreating and recording in a different kind of resolution and aspect ratio. What do you think about the audio quality here? Because I'm not using any microphone, just the internal mics on the Oppo Find X6 Pro. It has a mic on the back, I think the same as on the Xiaomi 13 Pro. So what do you think about the sound quality here, especially when I'm stepping on the leaves? You might hear some leaves. What do you think about this one here? Also in terms of movie mode, which one is better? Here we have the photos. On the left always the Oppo Find X6 Pro, on the right always the Xiaomi 13 Pro, and we start off with 3 times versus 3.2 times zoom shots of my little puppy here. And as you can see here, very razor sharp, the best that I saw so far in terms of 3 times zoom. On the Xiaomi 13 Pro, I think I missed this shot. As you can see here, his fur is quite soft there, but his foot is quite sharp. And why is he so pink here? Just because it's a reflection of the sun. As you can see here, there's some pink elements there. So it's okay. Of course, I can get a bit of a sharper shot with the Xiaomi 13 Pro as well. As you can see here, he didn't want to show me his face, but his ears and his hairs here are pretty sharp as well. So I would say in terms of daylight shots, 3 times versus 3 times, very comparable here in terms of sharpness as well. And I think you can see already the difference in terms of color shift and color balance. We have much warmer color tone on the Find X6 Pro in comparison to the Xiaomi 13 Pro. That is much cooler here. And the 13 Pro, by the way, I'm using the vivid color here, but I also switch back to the authentic one as well. This one here, for example, this is the ultra wide angle, and this one was shot in Leica Authentic, whereas this Oppo Find X6 Pro's default mode. What you can see immediately is much more camera-like of a shot on the Xiaomi 13 Pro, thanks to not so much contrast added, as you can see here definitely on the tree. The tree is much sharper, much more sharpening applied, but it is also a bit more sharper because there is more detail on the Oppo Find X6 Pro with the ultra-wide angle. And we have, of course, a bit more punchy colors on the Oppo Find X6 Pro, much more yellowish here, those leaves, where it looks less yellowish, a bit more faded on the Xiaomi 13 Pro. But overall, the sharpness, by the way, 15 millimeters versus 14 millimeters, so there is a slight difference there, but it's very, very rare to see any big differences here. You can see much cooler colors here, much warmer colors here. Which one do you prefer? I tend towards the warmer colors usually, but here I think it is a bit too punchy on the Oppo Find X6 Pro for me. I know it has the better sensor, so the picture is probably a bit better, but I like the color science of the Leica Authentic, which is muting the colors a little bit, looking more realistic for me. Main camera sensor, close-up shots, very interesting. Both use the IMX989 1-inch type sensor, but we have f1.8 on the Oppo Find X6 Pro and the Xiaomi 13 Pro f1.9. You can see it. Yes, you can see it. It's really noticeable here in terms of sharpness that the 13 Pro is a little bit crisper. It's not only that it has a little bit more punchy color in this case here, as you can see the green, the leaves. There is a bit of a difference still. And the Oppo is doing a bit more yellowing things up a little bit, and a little bit cooler on the Xiaomi 13 Pro, but you can also see that, yeah, it is a tad sharper on the 13 Pro. It is sharpening things up probably as well a bit, but it is also thanks to the aperture. Background colors, you can see much more punchier blue on the 13 Pro here, where the Oppo Find X6 Pro keeps it more realistic in the background. When it comes to background blur, f1.8 versus 1.9, I don't see much of a difference. Selfie shots with the selfie cam, the Oppo Find X6 Pro by default has this blur effect. Xiaomi 13 Pro for some reason did not trigger this. When I zoom in, you can see that it looks much more realistic on the Oppo Find X6 Pro. It is much softer on the Oppo Find X6 Pro. The Xiaomi 13 Pro is sharper, but also sharper and adding, yeah, some kind of artifacts here that look like noise, especially in my eyes, you can see it. And yeah, otherwise, I think in terms of HDR and so on, both doing a fine job, but I see more contrasty look on the Oppo Find X6 Pro. You can see how black this is one, and this tree is like less black there for sure. And the color of my jacket here, the difference also, you can see, yeah, how much noise there is because of sharpening things up is pretty similar here. And it looks to be, because it's like sharpening things up, to be a little more detail here on my jacket on the 13 Pro. Yeah, what do you think about this one? The cutout here, I think Oppo did manage, I think, a good cutout. Yeah, there's a little bit of artificially looking, but overall I think it's a good. Here you can see again the differences in this is, by the way, also now like authentic again, and you can see how big of a difference this is. So let me make sure. Yeah, it's 23mm f1.9, and yeah, here you can see the difference again, where I think there's a tad sharper on the Xiaomi 13 Pro. Maybe the f-stop number is working here nicely. 10 times zoom. The Oppo Find X6 Pro's 3 times zoom lens is doing a terrific job, I would say. The Xiaomi 13 Pro struggles a bit, as you can see here in this shot. You can get, of course, another, this is not the zoom shot, but you can get, of course, a little bit sharper shots as well with the Xiaomi 13 Pro. But overall, look at the color difference. Much warmer on the Oppo Find X6 Pro, much cooler on the Xiaomi 13 Pro. I think the Oppo Find X6 Pro has an edge here over the Xiaomi 13 Pro, at least when it comes to zoom in shots. We get a little bit more of details there, but they're very, very close in day-to-day usage. This close-up shot, again, to show you the difference between the f-stop number. Here you can see the eyes of the puppy are sharp, the nose and the little dirt that he has on his nose is unsharp, and here in the Xiaomi 13 Pro you can see his eyes are sharp, and it's a lot sharper here, this little dirt on his nose. So that's a big difference that you can see here in terms of yeah, the f-stop numbers. Otherwise, macro shots, the Oppo Find X6 Pro utilizes the ultra wide angle, and the Xiaomi 13 Pro utilizes the tele-zoom macro camera, and you can see much nicer bokeh already, much more contrast. It's just simply a better macro shot on the Xiaomi 13 Pro, where there's a lot more in focus on the Find X6 Pro, even though it has a large sensor, even larger sensor than the Xiaomi 13 Pro zoom lens, but it's just using the ultra wide angle, and it's much more busy, and you can see, yeah, the little details and so on. It just looks nicer on the Xiaomi 13 Pro in this regards. What do you think? Ultra wide angle again, where we can see the difference in terms of 14 versus 50 millimeters a bit, just to demonstrate it to you. Otherwise, you can see muted colors on the Xiaomi 13 Pro, means like authentic, and much more sharpness, much richer kind of picture on the Oppo Find X6 Pro. Here we can see how far we can zoom out. We see a little bit of the tree here that we don't see on the Oppo Find X6 Pro anymore. And yeah, this is, I think, pretty good on both, but the Oppo Find X6 Pro has the slightly better better sharpness there. Portrait shots, not really a specialty of the Oppo Find X6 Pro. The Xiaomi 13 Pro shines there, has many different portrait shot options, just like this monochrome one, and it's not too sharp, so very nice here. This one as well, I think squirrely something, you can see you get the squirrel effect here. Also, I think the sharpness is good. It's a bit soft because it's using the main camera sensor here. and cropping in. And I think the cutout is a bit artificial, but it's still looking okay. And the Oppo Find X6 Pro, also using the main camera sensor here to zoom in, you see how much sharper this is. So very, very interesting here. Cutout is, I think, also on par with the Xiaomi. But when we take a look at the 3 times zoom versus 3.2 times versus 3 times zoom, utilizing their native zoom lenses, both are very, very sharp, as you can see here. Maybe the Xiaomi 13 Pro even a tad sharper there, but it is really, really, really cool. You can see the color differences, much warmer colors, much cooler colors, probably more realistic on the Xiaomi 13 Pro, but it looks more pleasing to the eye, and I like to see myself more in this color here on the Oppo Find X6 Pro. Both doing a fine job when it comes to such portrait shots. Otherwise, the Oppo Find X6 Pro has its X-Pan mode, which is like this wide kind of shot that you can use. But it's a gimmick in my opinion, because yeah, you get this wide shot, but just zoom in and look how bad, how over sharpened, over processed this looks like. It's just simply, why Oppo even bother including such a very bad kind of image? Look at this here. Of course, yeah, it's the same picture, but slightly different. You can see here we had sun, and here we don't have so much sun, so there's a color difference. But look at the processing here. This is the panorama mode that I used here simply on the device. It's much, much better. So forget about the X-Pan mode. Otherwise here, we don't see much of a difference here besides the color change. You can see it here on the tree, a bit more realistic on the Xiaomi 13 Pro, a bit warmed up on the Oppo Find X6 Pro. Sharpness almost the same, bokeh almost the same. Also here, very artistic both, but you can see a bit more punchy on the Oppo Find X6 Pro. It's a matter of taste, I would say. A bit cooler colors, a bit warmer colors. I like the Find X6 Pro a bit more because I think it was warm back then, so the warmer kind of feel makes much more sense. Bokeh again, test much sharper on the Xiaomi 13 Pro f1.9 versus f1.8. You can see it's sharper. Even my fingers and the skin there is much sharper on the Xiaomi 13 Pro. I like this a lot better. I think Oppo should learn therefore from Xiaomi. Otherwise, nighttime, mid-lit, dim lit situation, I think the processing is a bit stronger. The Oppo Find X6 Pro, it's a bit cleaner here on the Xiaomi 13 Pro looking. Here, this is like more processed. This is like already out of focus, which is interesting. Shallow depth of field very quickly. Otherwise, yeah, you can see, yeah, out of focus already and a bit sharper there. So yeah, otherwise a bit cooler, a bit warmer. We know this already. Toolbox shot. Both looking fine, a bit more too contrasty maybe on the Oppo Find X6 Pro. The Xiaomi 13 Pro with its like authentic mode is doing a better job there. Colors also, you can see how much like it's soft, yeah, but it's putting too much contrast in here, which looks a bit artificial. On the Oppo Find X6 Pro, the Xiaomi a little bit better there, but both basically on par. Here you can see the Xiaomi 13 Pro even a bit more advantage, because you can see the stitching here on this, where here it's maybe a little bit only there. So it's a bit brighter there as well. And a bit greener for sure as well, where I think the color here on the Oppo Find X6 Pro with the more warmer color is a bit better. But overall, I think this shot is very, very close, and I prefer the Xiaomi 13 Pro here on this dim-lit night shot. But then when it comes to ultra-wide angle, no chance for the Xiaomi 13 Pro. There you can see the big, large sensor on the Oppo Find X6 Pro is eliminating everything here, and gets something from the toolbox, where the Xiaomi 13 Pro is basically showing what I was seeing with my eyes. So there is something, but not really clear what it is. Zoom shots, also very interesting. Also the larger sensor on the Oppo Find X6 Pro is doing a much better job here in dim lit situations. When it comes to lower light, even better. As you can see, it's a bit soft, and 3.2 times kicked already night mode in on the Xiaomi 13 Pro, so it had an exposure time of 1 second, where the Oppo Find X6 Pro just took the shot, and this is that. So which one is your favorite? I have to say it's like a neck-to-neck kind of shooting experience on both. I like the Xiaomi 13 Pro's shooting experience and the macro shots with its telezoom camera. On the other hand, the Oppo Find X6 Pro's main camera sometimes has like the better colors, I think, the little warmer colors that I like a little bit more. Otherwise, the Xiaomi 13 Pro with the f1.9 gets things a little bit sharper. And yeah, there's a bit of muted colors sometimes help with more realistic kind of view, where on the Oppo Find X6 Pro it can be a bit punchy sometimes, but it's a back and forth, and I cannot really declare a winner here. On paper, the Oppo Find X6 Pro is much better. In reality, it's very, very close, and I would give the Oppo Find X6 Pro the slight win just because in nighttime, in darker situations, I think it takes the edge here thanks to the larger zoom cam and larger ultra wide angle. That's everything for this video. What is your opinion? Write it down in the comment section. Am I biased towards one or the other? Basically on this, it's just like, it's one-to-one almost the same, and I give Oppo the slight edge here because of better, more likable colors here and there, and sometimes better processing when it comes to low light shots. What is your opinion? Write it down in the comment section. That's everything for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, bye.